Hello and welcome to my Yu-Gi-Oh channel. So today we're looking at a brand new mini box which is coming out of Duel Links. It's called Rage of Volcano. I think the release date is December the 10th, and today we'll be covering the ultra rares with it. So here is the big headliner for the deck. At the moment it's number 61 Volcasaurus. This is a fire attribute dinosaur type Xyz monster. It's a rank 5 with 2500 attack and 1000 defense. It requires 2 level 5 monsters. With the effect, once per turn, you can detach 1 Xyz material from this card, then target 1 face-up monster your opponent controls, destroy that opponent's monster, and if you do, inflict damage to your opponent equal to the destroyed monster's original attack. This card cannot attack your opponent directly during the turn you activate this effect. This card, I think, is one of the better number monsters out there. It has ways of defeating things like Utopia because it doesn't have to go into the battle phase. You can just destroy it with its effect. There are multiple cards that you can do this with. You can consider this doesn't have any sort of restriction in terms of stat lineup. It doesn't have to be something like, for example, with Cyber Laser Dragon, that has to destroy something that's a certain level below it. It cannot, no, I think it's above it, but it cannot destroy something below it. This doesn't have that condition. It can destroy a Blue Eyes White Dragon. It can destroy anything you have, your opponent has, and they take half the damage. But remember, with the whole changes with Duel Links, the amount of damage they take is halved further. So if you take out a Blue Eyes White Dragon, the most burn damage you're going to get is 750. So bear that in mind. It would have been better to have introduced this pre the banning of and the lessening of the effect damage from burn effects, but you can't get everything, and they needed a way to modify and adapt the game, so I can understand why. The only downside is it cannot attack during the turn. It cannot attack directly during the turn you activate this effect, so you can still run over monsters if your opponent has a board present, get rid of their biggest threat, and then get rid of the other threat using this monster's attack. So the next card we have is Coach Soldier Wolfbark. This is a fire attribute beast warrior type level 4 with 1600 attack and 1200 defense. Its effect is you can target 1 level 4 fire attribute beast warrior type monster in your graveyard, special summon it in defense position, but negate its effects. You can only use this effect of Coach Soldier Wolfbark once per turn. What I find interesting about this particular card is it's part of this kind of sub-archetype that was used within Yu-Gi-Oh! GX. It wasn't used by an emperor, but it was used by someone who was possessed by the Baryons. And his emphasis was using this coach trainer giant, I think it was coach giant trainer or something along those lines. The idea was you basically got out your bear captain, that actually adjusts the level of Beast Warrior type monsters from level 4 to level 8. So this card, Wolfbark, would special summon from the graveyard one of your other Beast Warriors. You would then adjust the levels of those two monsters, considering that you could actually get a Bear Captain out. Normally, it loses half of its attack points, but as a level 8 means you could easily bring that out. Xyz summon using the monster, and then Giant Trainer's effect was you attach an Xyz material, you draw a card. If it's a monster, your opponent takes 800 points of life point damage. I'm very curious to see why those two cards haven't been introduced within this. I know this is emphasized on the fire attributes, but they're both within that realm and they're used in conjunction with this card. Although I'm saying that, I do know it's supposed to be really good with like Fire Kings and anything along those lines that relies on Beast Warrior support. So you can always pair that with that strategy as well. And the final card for the Ultra Rares is Rekindling. This is a normal spell card with the effect special summon from your graveyard as many fire monsters as possible with 200 defense, but banish them during the end phase. This card was devastating when it was originally used within the normal game. It's very explosive. You could go into various monsters, most of them obviously being you know, pyrotypes. You could essentially Xyz summon, synchro summon, even potentially fusion summon with some tribute summon. But this card didn't really have a downside outside of that restriction of 200 defense. There's so much support for it. It's dangerous, and I think definitely when we get the next ban list, well, not the immediate one, I think possibly the next one, this card will definitely be banned. You watch and see.